Many congratulations to the top three qualifiers for the FIA Formula One Singapore Grand Prix. In third place, Oscar Piastri. In second place, Max Verstappen, and taking the 7th pole of his Formula One career and his second of this 2025 season, our pole sitter, George Russell. Many congratulations, George. Both laps in Q3, good enough for the pole. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it's been a challenging weekend, to be fair. I've not been comfortable with the car, not been comfortable with myself, and it just sort of all came towards me in Q3, to be honest. Even the end of Q2, that was my first good lap of the weekend, and probably the first lap where I felt semi-reasonable, but I knew I had a bit of margin to go further, and then my lap one in Q3 was really strong, and then obviously matched it on the second lap, so pretty pleased with that.
Why has it taken you so long to dial the car in, given that you've proved it's good enough for pole?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, sometimes, some weekends you just hit the ground running a bit sooner, other times you don't. I've found this weekend quite strange. Like, the grip has been really high from the tarmac, but the cars have been sliding quite a lot, and it feels a bit reminiscent of Miami, where it's really high grip, but the car is sliding. And I just didn't have much confidence in myself, and obviously the crash yesterday set me back again, but I always sort of remind myself, doesn't matter what happens on Friday, it's Q3 when it counts.
Talk us through the first lap of Q3, particularly the end. I think it was turn 17. Do we call that a kiss, or was it actually a hit?
A bit more of a snog in between the two, so no, it wasn't too bad. But it's always, when you're on a really strong lap and you just touch the wall like that, you're a little bit tentative going into the next corner, because you just don't know if you got a puncture or the car's just going to spin out on you. And obviously it's a very fast corner, but all good in the end.
All right, well, let's throw it forward to tomorrow. 10 of the last 15 races here in Singapore have been won from pole. You have the statistics on your side. What do you see as the biggest challenges over 62 laps?
Probably these two next to me, to be honest. We know the McLarens are usually exceptionally good on their tyres in the hot conditions. I think we've all been a little bit surprised at their sort of lack of pace this weekend. We were probably all expecting them to run away with it, and we certainly didn't anticipate to be fighting for a pole position here. So not sure going into tomorrow. I'm the only driver who hasn't done a long run, so that doesn't play into my favour, but of course overtaking is challenging here. Races have been a bit of a one-stop recently, but now with the 80 kph speed limit in the pit lane, it probably brings it closer to a 2 now.
All right, look, very well done to you. Thank you for that, Max. Let's come to you. How frustrated are you after that one? Blocked by Lando. Do you think pole was on until that moment?
Yeah, it was close. I mean, the last 2 seconds in front of me in the final chicane. So in qualifying, you cannot have that. You cannot have any kind of disturbance when you want to push in Q3, and that's what happened. I had to abort the lap because of that. So that was a bit unfortunate. Otherwise, I think, it would have been a very close battle for first. But is what it is. Nothing that you can do about that. So you just move forward. I think for us so far this weekend has, again, been a very solid one. No major trouble. We were always kind of there, and I guess that's good. So that is, of course, for us at least very, very promising.
Does the car feel much more hooked up with the new parts?
Yeah, like the last 2 races, really.
Okay. What about tomorrow then? Where do you see your biggest opportunities to get past the guy in the middle at the moment?
I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll wait and see. I'm not really too bothered about it.
Do you think that increased pit lane speed will open up strategic possibilities?
Yes and no. It depends on the race, safety cars, when they come or not. You just need to be ready for everything.
Okay, look, final one from me, Max. The car, Helmut Marko has been very positive about the car this weekend and the progress that the team has made. Do you feel you've really got some momentum with you? Even though you're not on pole, we understand why now. But do you feel Red Bull has that momentum now?
Absolutely. I mean, the last 3 weekends now have been really, really nice. I mean, up until that point, we have always been throwing the setup left and right because it was just not working. And then sometimes you had a weekend where it was okay, but then now the last 3 weekends, it's been solid. I mean, we've just been fine-tuning, and that's exactly what you want, throughout the weekend. Of course, some layouts will be a bit better for us, some probably a bit more difficult, but the basis of the car is a lot more solid, and I think that is what you need.
Thank you for that. Good luck tomorrow. Oscar, coming to you now. You said a moment ago it was a clean session for you. Are you surprised by the pace of Mercedes and Red Bull, first of all?
Yes. I mean, I think my first lap of Q3 felt reasonable. It certainly didn't feel 4/10 off bad. I just don't think we had the pace tonight, which is a little bit of a surprise for us. It has been very tight through all of practice, but I think we were relatively confident going in. So, some things to look at and see, where we're lacking. But we've not had the easiest last couple of weekends, so it's not a huge surprise in some ways because of how it's gone recently, but I do think we felt after practice we had a better chance.
Okay. Talk us through the incident in Q1, the yellow flag, which forced you to abort. Did that impact the rest of your session?
Not really. I mean, any time on a street circuit you don't do laps is frustrating, and I did feel like through Q1 I was playing catch up a little bit, but ultimately it didn't really affect much. It was obviously frustrating to have a yellow flag thrown for someone getting out of the way. There's been a lot of kind of adjustments on the yellow flags and stuff like that, but I think yes, there's still some tweaking with that because Alex did the best job he could to get out of my way, and it ended up costing me a lap anyway. So some things to look at there.
All right, and how do you see the race? I mean, George has already said that McLaren's the way you look after your tyres is notorious. Do you think you can make progress?
I hope so, but it's very tough to overtake around here. You need a fair bit of extra pace to get past someone. So we'll see if we've got that tomorrow. But the long running has been kind of tough for everyone with red flags, and no one's really done that much. So I wouldn't say we've got more confidence than we had going into qualifying for the race, but we'll see what's possible.
All right, Oscar, thank you very much for that. Let's open this to the floor. Usual deal. Yeah, Andrew, please.
Andrew Benson, BBC Sport. Max, just to clarify, can you say who was in front of you on that lap? And then for all three of you, the cooling vests, what sort of things have you been taking into account when you've been deciding whether to wear them or not? And if you are wearing them, is it going to make this race less demanding than it was in the past?
I mean, you said it already, Lando. To clarify, well, in qualifying, when you always try to leave gaps of 6-7 seconds at least, because you want no disturbance. Normally, of course, in Q3 you don't see a car, or unless you're on a different program. But I think around here is quite clear what you want to do, so you leave quite big gaps, everyone. But then, of course, sometimes it happens on a street circuit that people are bored, make mistakes. When you then get a car 2-3 seconds in front of you, I mean, you need every kind of clean air that you can have on a Q3 lap, especially because you are fully on the limit with braking and everything. And I lost a bit of downforce with that, so I went straight on. That's it. And then with the vest, I haven't used the vest. I'm also not intending to use it because I feel like this needs to be a driver choice. Of course, from the FIA side, they will always throw it on safety, but then we can talk about a lot of stuff that can be improved on safety, including pit entries in certain places. I think that has a bit more priority than a vest in the car, because I don't like it. I don't like the tubes that are on your body with the belts that go next to you. Then they can say it's a bad design. I disagree. It just needs to be an option for the drivers to choose. Some like it, some don't. And that's fine. I mean, it should be a personal preference. And I know, of course, this year we can, but probably next year they don't want to do that. And I feel that is not the right thing. Because I think the problem also is that in a GT car or any other cars, prototypes, you have a bit more space to put stuff, or at least put the cables. In our cockpits, it's so narrow that there is no space, or at least not enough space. And that... is also a little bit of a problem, I find. Plus, where you're going to put the dry ice? I mean, the cars are not designed really to have this extra kind of space, and within 15, 20 laps, it's anyway gone, and then you have hot water, hot tea.
Thanks, Max. George, cooling, yeah.
You don't like it, no?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'll run it. I've run it in a couple of races this year. It isn't the perfect solution yet. And I mean, the fact is, you have no testing. You can only test it in a racing environment. So, I mean, the race in Bahrain, I was happy with it. I ran it in Saudi as well, was happy with it. But of course, here, it is much hotter. The dry ice will melt faster. But yeah, to be fair, the team have made big improvements with the car cooling as itself. You know, we recognise some quite major issues of sort of hot air seeping in and the cockpit massively exceeding 60 degrees at certain races, and just moving a few electronical boxes around and hydraulic lines that are running at 120 degrees around your feet have a major impact on the heat. But as I said, I'll trial it. I'll give you an answer tomorrow.
I still don't know if I'm going to use it. I used it yesterday. I think the problem with the suit is it's great when it works, but if it fails, it's even worse than not having it. So, and like George said, there's no testing to really try it out. And there is winter testing, but I think everything's going to feel pretty good when it's 10 degrees. So, I still don't know if I'm going to run it. I think the initiative is good, but like Max said, I think having the choice to use it or not is important, because there are benefits and downsides.
Okay, thanks all. Next, Luke.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. Max, will you look to talk to Lando about what happened there in Q3?
No, I think it's quite clear. That's something that is not nice. When it happens to someone. I think in general we are always quite good at that. All the drivers, we try to stay out of the way. I mean, sometimes of course it's always a bit more complicated in certain scenarios. So every scenario is a bit different. But in this case, in Q3 with only 10 cars on the track, I think could have been avoided.
Thanks for that. Any more? Yep.
Ben Waterworth, Speed Cafe. Question for Oscar. Given that you sort of talked about the pace and the guys ahead of you and not sure if the win will be possible tomorrow, does your race just become about keeping Lando behind and thinking of the championship? And also, if George called his little brush with the wall a snog, what do you call your little brush with the wall in Q3?
Did I hit a wall in Q3?
Oh, yeah.
I think that probably answers. I didn't even know I touched the wall. No, I mean, I think tomorrow's race is just all about trying to do the best I can. And, there's a lot of things that can happen around here. It's a tough race, safety cars and stuff like that. So I'll do the best that I can. Obviously, if there's an opportunity to finish higher than I'm starting, then I'll try and take it. I'm not just going to settle for the position I'm in or any position just ahead of Lando. I want to, maximize the race I can get, because any extra points I can win is only going to help me. So just try and do the best job I can and see where we end up.
Thanks for that. Any more? Yep.
Hi, Deepan from the Straits Times. Question for George. We remember in 2023 you were running a very good race and eventually did crash out. Something similar happened yesterday. With today's performance and getting pole, how much does that vindicate what happened in the last 2 years? How much does that motivate you to tomorrow go out there and win the race itself?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
The walls, they actually move around the track. I don't know if you guys noticed, but
must have been
quite tricky in some places.
Yeah. No, it's I'm a very different driver today than I was a couple of years ago. Yesterday was my first crash in over a year, but this season is I am sort of more within myself. I know the limits better, but the fact is, on a street circuit, you've only got to have a 1% lapse of concentration. My mistake 2 years ago, it wasn't a big mistake. It was a mistake of 5 centimeters, but the consequence was massive. And that's the thing on a street circuit. You can't afford one single corner not to be 100% focused. But that's the greatness of it too.
Thanks, George. All right, anyone? Yep, another one. Back to Luke.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. Another one for Max. I know this circuit hasn't maybe been your favourite over the years. I'm sure you've seen the stat about it being the only track you've not won at. But it seems very different this year. Like, how much more enjoyable is it having a car underneath you that, as you say, you can push? And is it a surprise, given that we knew, obviously, the last two tracks went well, but it was such a different configuration to what we're now on?
Yeah. I mean, what can I say? Yeah, you never had pole here. Can ask that to many drivers why they never had pole here, right? I mean, that's just what happens. But the last few years, yeah, it's not been easy. I mean, 2022 there was a good opportunity, but you need to, of course, put enough fuel in the car for qualifying. And then, of course, it would have changed the perception a bit, because I hear this now the whole week. You know, never had a pole, never won here. Well, fantastic. But yeah. Now, finally, the car is a bit more just all-round, it seems. We've always been, I would say, a little bit weaker on high, like super high downforce, for whatever reason. But for us to be this competitive, for sure, is very promising. Okay, whatever happens tomorrow happens. But even for upcoming races where you're not always running the super high downforce, I think it will be nice if we can just keep this momentum going.
All right, Max, thanks for that. Thanks to all three of you. We will leave it there. Well done, George. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, we have listened the post-qualifying press conference. Firstly, after a long time, it's good to be here for me and to comment it maybe for a couple of weeks. As I said yesterday, I didn't have a chance because of my private works. I want to say just one more time, sorry to all of you. And as always, I'm going to try my best to comment just the first part of the press conference. That the questions part of the journalist, I'm not going to comment. I will leave those comments to our viewers, to our subscribers, to our supporters. And if we need to start with the George Russell, I think he just stepped one more huge step for his new contract for the Mercedes. His performance today was at the qualifying was very good because, as you know, all week he was struggling a lot with this car. As he said, he didn't have much more confidence with the car at this Grand Prix at the practice days, but he was very superb today, and also he had very good luck at today's qualifying, especially at the Q3. Like if you have watched it at the last before the last turn, he hit it to wall with his right behind tire, but he had the luck, as he said on the press conference, like he didn't have any puncture and anything, and he took the pole position. For me, like I wasn't expecting this kind of performance from the George Russell or from the Mercedes, because all of the season and as you know, also last year they were struggling a lot at the hot conditions, but I think it's a bit like this year, especially after the break, where they were good, they were bad, but they were very bad last season. They just became very good, and it was especially for the constructor championship for the second place. I think this is a huge result, and especially for his new contract for the Mercedes, as you know, because we have a lot of rumors about him. Is he going to be on a Mercedes or not? But with this kind of performances, I think the rumors are rumors, but he will be definitely at the Mercedes next year with Kimi Antonelli. And as you know, the Wolf had yesterday interview that he said Kimi will 100% be in a Mercedes next season. And if we I need to talk for the Max Verstappen. Like his last Q3 lap was a little bit disturbed by Lando Norris. But I don't think that that affected too much to the Max Verstappen's last push at the Q3. They had like a 2 seconds actually. It was between them, but as you know, Max Verstappen has never have pole in here, and I think also this year he didn't just broke that iceberg to take that pole position. But it's a good thing for the Max Verstappen. They finally, it's a little bit late, but they finally found that car setup that works very good with this car, and I believe that after this race, and on the becoming races, they will go with this setup, and we will see much more competitive Red Bull. As he said, he's feeling comfortable with this setup, and he will just try best of himself to win the championship. But I think it will be impossible for the Max Verstappen. Maybe he will have the best chances for him to finish at the second place this season behind Oscar Piastri. And Oscar Piastri, like it's third position for him today, but I think he's not stressed a lot because of the third position, because at least he is at the front of his teammate, and he still has that advantage for the winning the drivers championship. And as I'm saying, a couple of weeks like he's going to win the constructor championship. I don't know, are you agree with me or not, but like definitely I think that Oscar Piastri will win the drivers championship this season. And as he said on the press conference, like it's a surprise to see Mercedes at the first position. I agree with that word 100%, but I think it's a much more big surprise to see McLaren like this slow. I think this is not a real pace of McLaren. Something they have some problem with the car, but this kind of the tracks like the Singapore, like this with the slow corners, I think they were much more better on this season, but they are having some problems, and that surprised me. It's interesting to see McLaren this much more slower than they were, but we will see what will happen after this Grand Prix. As they said, both of the drivers, it's a little bit hard to make overtakes, but definitely. As you have watched on the practice 1, practice 2, and practice 3, definitely we are going to have a lot of safety cars, I believe, tomorrow, and that will change, I think, everything on this Grand Prix. And I'm going to finish my words about the press conference. Just I want to announce that, as you know, for a couple of weeks I'm telling this. From the beginning of the next season, with me and with my friends, we are going to do Formula 1 sim racing. Your support will make us really, really happy. And if you are a lover of Formula 1 sim racing, just you can find the channel link on the comment section, on the description section, and you can find it on the card section. If you want to give your support to us, just you can subscribe also on that channel, and just to wait from the beginning of the beginning of the next season. And of course, do not forget to like this video, to comment, to hype it, and to subscribe to the channel. And see you on the interviews that we are going to have today after qualifying. Just don't forget to follow the channel.